Garoppolo throws end zone. It is caught by Dante Pettis.
We built that. Let's go.
I love adversity.
All right, boys. Got to score to win.
Touchdown, Todd Gurley. Touchdown, LA.
That was just a double jam. All right, we're going to go for the knockout later.
We might get it back to you. Stay ready. No! You the man!
Let's get to Santa Clara, California. The undefeated San Francisco 49ers taking on the Rams. MJ Acosta is there. Good morning to you, MJ. We heard Jimmy G say it there in the video. I love adversity. He's faced it. He had the torn ACL, had to come back from that. And now these two quarterbacks, Jared Goff and Jimmy Garoppolo, seem to have switched roles going back a year ago.
Yeah, it's almost like a Freaky Friday situation heading into a Sunday game. But what I love about this matchup, one of my favorite parts of this, is that Goff and Jimmy Garoppolo have never actually played in the same game before. The last time that Garoppolo went up against the Rams, it was 2017, Week 17, when Goff was resting for the playoffs. The 49ers went on to win that game, of course, but now completely different year, different circumstances, and certainly different teams by most metrics. Most notably, of course, is that the 49ers are sitting at the top of the NFC West, while the Rams are in the third slot there. The difference a year or two can make in that span. Now, for Jimmy Garoppolo, he has thrown a passing touchdown in 11 straight games. That is the longest active streak in the NFL right now. But putting the stats and the metrics aside, I assure you that Jimmy and no other guy in this 49ers locker room is discounting any team in this league, especially not a divisional opponent like the Rams, who, oh yes, by the way, were just at the Super Bowl 8 months ago. They say they're not looking at the records. They're making sure they are as prepared as possible to take them on.
Nick Bosa might have an opportunity to at least look and celebrate his 2 sacks, his 5 quarterback hits in that game against the Browns. What's leading to this? How's he going to try to continue this sack spree that's coming off of that ankle injury that slowed him to the start of the season?
Well, Patrick, I spoke with Nick Bosa very briefly after the crowd dispersed around his locker room after Monday night's win. And he said something that really stuck out to me. He said, listen, I got here at the right time. That timing he's referencing is what the 49ers have been building over several years. This year, obviously, already coming together through 4 games. Now, Bosa is hitting his stride as well at the right time as well. So we go back to that timing reference. That early bye week, like you mentioned, really helped him out with that nagging ankle injuries, especially other guys too were able to come back healthy. He was not on the injury report for the first time the whole season, and we saw the result right there. He's also ranked in the top 5 on QB pressure, something that Jared Goff struggles with a ton when he's under QB pressure. But you know, speaking with the guys in the locker room, especially the defensive unit, they say, listen, our main theme here is just wait. Defensive end D Ford told me we haven't even hit our peak. We're still waiting for that big defensive game. He says it's all about the build here. They're hoping to see that jump this week against LA.
Yeah, Bosa and Ford not part of those defenses where Jared Goff has had so much success in the past. Roger Staubach, the only player with a higher passer rating in his career against the 49ers than Jared Goff. We'll see how these two meet up in this big West battle coming up this weekend. MJ Acosta live in Santa Clara. Thanks, MJ. The Rams defense giving up big plays aplenty to Russell Wilson and company last Thursday night. But that being said, they were still a missed field goal kick from a really good kicker from coming away with the win. Sean McVay trusts his defense and his team to turn things around.
We've talked about it over and over again, and I know that a lot of the teams in the league say this, but other than points, there's no really, no greater indicator of wins and losses just over the course of time than, taking care of the football offensively and getting it back defensively. So that's something that we definitely want to make a point of emphasis, as does every team in the league, I'm sure. But I think it's got to be a commitment. It's got to be something that we're constantly preaching, and I think that I know we have the guys that are capable of doing it at a higher level, and we can certainly coach it, and that's where it starts with us and with me, and then the players being able to get it done.
Well, let's get out to Thousand Oaks with the Rams. That's where our Steve Wyche is this morning. Steve, one way that you can make things easier on the defense, get out there and run the ball a bit. What are the Rams going to try to do to make that more effective?
Patrick, they're going to finally try to establish the consistency in the running game. We know that the Rams offense, as much as they've thrown the ball, its bread and butter is still the run game. That is something they have not consistently established this season. And actually, speaking with someone from the 49ers, they're coming here pretty much with the same mindset defensively as every other team is. Slow down the running game and try to make Jared Goff throw it at least 40 times, which is something he's done conservatively over the past 2 games, 49 and 65 times. Both of them were losses, so that is the key number. Now, to get that running game going against that stout Niners front, the offensive line has got to protect better, and they've got to be creative. Now, we know how good that Niners defensive front is, but again, the commitment to the run, getting Todd Gurley going, also some of the creative ways with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks, who's still in concussion protocol, but he is expected to kind of progress through the week. To get him going on some of those jet sweeps and not put so much pressure on Goff, that again is the intent for the Rams going into what is now a big NFC West showdown.
And speaking of creativity on the other side, Steve, with regards to the running game, San Francisco had 4 guys averaging over 6 yards a carry against the Browns. What are the Rams going to do to try to slow them down on the ground?
Yeah, that's a huge challenge, Patrick. Look, the Niners are coming in here averaging 200 rushing yards a game. They're tops in the NFL. By contrast, the Rams are only at 96 rushing yards a game. So this is a huge test for guys like Aaron Donald and Michael Brockers and Dante Fowler up front to really be disciplined and let their linebackers and DBs get to the ball, because as we know, the Niners hit you inside, they hit you in the zone scheme, and they really put a lot of stress on the edges. So one thing that could help the Rams this week is it does look like they're getting back rookie safety Taylor Rapp. He's been bothered by an ankle injury, but all indications are he'll be good to go, which is good to help covering a tight end like George Kittle, and he's also very strong in run support, which is going to be very much needed in a game like this.
Jimmy G, 6-0, career starting on the West Coast. We'll see how things turn out in this NFC West battle coming up Sunday. Steve Wyche out there in Thousand Oaks. Thanks, man. The spleen scans came back clean, so Sam is back. But how much can he really do? We got a live report from the Jets. How late in the process was this decision made?
Well, it sounded like this was the Giants erring on the side of caution. We've seen Saquon Barkley run around at practice. We've seen him cut. We've seen him sprint. We've seen him do a lot of things that he would need to do out on the field, but he still has not yet put in a full practice. And the timing here seems like the thing that kind of derailed Saquon getting back in time to play the Patriots. They don't have a full practice before a Thursday night game. It's basically just walkthrough, so it's not like he can get out there this week, really test it, and be able to go. So he is not going to be out on the field. Instead, it's going to be Elijah Penny. So yes, Danny Dimes and Elijah Penny. I'm sorry, I'll be here all week. But for the Giants and Saquon Barkley, this still, big picture-wise, Patrick, this is still best-case scenario. He's going to end up missing 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain, the low end of all of this. Talked to his trainer a couple days ago. He said Saquon is not human. Still a very fast recovery from a tough injury.
And you mentioned the Dimes-Penny connection. Another part of that change would be Wayne Gallman being out, as well as Evan Ingram. Just a lot for this Giants offense to deal with, Ian.
Yeah, it is no doubt a lot for this Giants offense. Wayne Gallman, not a surprise. Rarely do players come out, have a concussion on Sunday, and then end up playing on Thursday. In fact, it almost never happens. We know Sterling Shepard also going to be out this week. Evan Ingram dealing with a knee sprain. Doesn't seem like a major injury, but again, the quick turnaround, go from Sunday to Thursday. It is just too fast for these guys. So the Giants are going to take on the Patriots. This really good Patriots defense with a lot of guys that are just not household names. For Daniel Jones, this is a difficult task.
Yeah, historically, right now at this early point in the season, a good Patriots defense. We will check on that game, and we'll be back with Ian Rappaport here in just a bit. Those New England Patriots, again, I mentioned historically, 121-point differential this season, second highest in the NFL through 5 games since 1970. They've only really faced opposition from a Bills team thus far this season. But looking ahead, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady know they've got a lot to prove.
You know, whenever you play Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, you have that amount of time, same amount as the other team typically, unless they're at a bye or something like that. So you just got to utilize the time as best you can, and you know, try to. I mean, I know for me, game ended. I started thinking about the Giants. just use as much time as you can between now and kickoff to get to know them, especially against a team that we're probably not that familiar with. We don't play them that often.
We certainly have a lot to get ready for with the Giants. It's a good football team, well coached. Really an attacking type of team in all three phases of the game.
Let's get to Foxborough, Massachusetts. That's where our Mike Giardi was there to hear from Bill Belichick.